All right, hello, good morning, everybody. You know, Sunday, 8 a.m. Vegas conference, all four words should never go in a sentence. But we're here, so we'll make the best of it. I'm here to talk about storage area networks, building a file-based workflow, and really it'll kind of leverage what Alex was talking about. He was spot on, and everything will be the same, where the problems are, and the problems that you've got now, and what are coming in the future. So the first thing we got to worry about is if you're going to go this route, how do you select a file-based workflow? There's so many different versions of file-based workflows, and each company has a different way of wanting to deploy, bring in assets in, move them around, and get them out. So you got to look at file level versus volume level. You got to look at NAS, SAN, or a hybrid of both. Operating systems and the compatibility across those NAS, SAN, and hybrid systems. Applications and compatibility, you got to tie that in there. Supported file formats. Alex talked about a lot of different file formats that the customers have to bring in. Concurrent stream counts is a major impact. People build storage area networks thinking they've got enough bandwidth in order to handle the multiple workstations they have. But in the end, the concurrency is what they have to spend most of the time looking at. Scalability, starting out small, being able to grow it into a larger facility. And installation and support. A lot of the customers out there don't have IT infrastructures or IT managers and can't afford to have that, but the technology that they need to run their business is very complex. So before you go into this with both feet, you need to really sit down with your team and look at the requirements of the company. You got to look at the applications that you've got now and kind of think about the future, your operating systems, the systems, locations on where they are, where your central SAN is going to be, the timelines that you want to develop all of this in. The concurrent stream counts, again, we talk about that as a major impact. Most of the problems we see out there is people not calculating the correct amount of performance that they're going to need to maintain the entire environment. Capacity, formats, and workflow. So then from there you got to look at what you've already got in your facilities versus where you think you're going to be a year or two from now, and try to build in some long-term investment strategies here. So legacy and future storage clients is extremely important to be looking at. Then we talked about the installation and support requirements and what you're going to need for a facility to keep yourself up in a complete file-based workflow. And then from there, get the whole plan written down, documented, and then start implementing. So when you're looking at this stuff, you've got all these different choices that you've got to get educated on. You've got different type of interfaces. It could be FireWire, USB, SAS, 4 and 8 gigabit fiber, 16 gigabit fiber here in 2012. You've got Thunderbolt, 1 and 10 gig connections and how to use those. InfiniBand has been used in a number of different facilities in Hollywood. And then there's FCOE that promises to keep coming and help simplify the infrastructure. So these are all the different interfaces. You'll use multiples of them within your infrastructure. But now you got to look at some of the questions on how each one of those fit. You know, will it be scalable for the facility that you're trying to build? What kind of redundancy can be built into that technology? Does it have the level of performance that you want? The low cost of entry that you need to get started while you get the investment in there? Potentially you'll have a lot of portable requirements coming up for doing on-set productions. And then encryption, is that an important piece of the solution for you so that you can keep your content from being stolen? From there, you go into collaboration. So you've built this SAN, you've got this centralized repository, but have you built it in such a way that multiple editors or multiple systems can collaborate and work with each other? So there's a lot of things that come with that. There's the shared storage is one, but there's the media management. Can you manage both a SAN and a NAS under the same type of workflow? Cross-platform project sharing, so that you can share projects across multiple editors at one time without having to duplicate your efforts or doing a lot of copy. Bin sharing, bin locking, specific to like an Avid workflow. User group administration, how hard is it? Do you have to have an IT person there in order to administrate and change? You know, if it's midnight and you need to make some changes and get a different suite up and running, you got to simplify that process. storage quotas. Because storage is jumping up so high, how do you manage that as an owner of a company and make sure that you're getting the best ROI out of the storage that you've got in there? Search engines and being able to find assets very quickly is another layer that needs to be laid on top so that you can manage media fast. Alex had talked about, losing data, not being able to get it in a timely fashion. Project archiving. This goes into long-term archiving, long-term preservation. It's one thing to back up the media itself, but what about the entire project? So you've got all the data that was built up that made that project. So look at project management as or project archiving as a way of managing your system. The scalability, the application tested, so things you're looking for. Simple and straightforward UIs. Non-proprietary hardware. You want to stay open wherever you can. Variety of storage support, variety of SAN management support, and make sure that you support all the different operating systems that you've got out there. So from there you move into, you've brought all this data in, you're collaborating, you're getting all the work done, you've gotten it out into final production, but then how do you maintain this media for long term? Your industry has the most difficult job that I can think of. You take so much content, and 80% of it you'll never use again, but it says you have to keep it and save it. So you're just a mass user of data and a very complex way of trying to manage that. So there are great solutions out there for managing media once you wanted to get it off your SAN and basically manage it through disk and tape and shelf archiving. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail because I'm limited on time, but there's quite a few opportunities out there for that. So just to show you a couple quick shots of how we work with people in the industry, we've got several different products. There's 5 or 6 different RAID product lines, there's NAS product lines, a number of different SAN file systems. Not all single systems can fit into one workflow. So that statement of work I talked about helps us determine what's the best product for a particular client. This product line here covers a wide variety of media and entertainment. It was purpose-built for it. So the RAID on top is a high-performance appliance that actually has 8 gigabit built in the back of it. It can start out as a small high-performance SAN network without having to deploy a switch, metadata controller. The file system is built into the RAID itself and goes into all the individual clients. It also has project management built into it that we could share out of Adobe and Final Cut Pro projects, sequences. So it's a very quick, easy, low-cost solution for getting up and running for 4, 5, 6, up to 8 seats. But then that entire system can scale up to a very large facility where you can go into high availability components throughout the environment. You can have scalable storage, so you can go up into multiple petabytes worth of storage. You can handle your archive, second tier, third tier management on there, and tie in your WAN and WAN optimization for moving files from remote locations. That's it. Thank you.